We have 7 stories in total for you guys today. The first story is posted by you/FancyFeast13. Freeload off my Wifi. Get snipped. Wanted to join in on the Wifi fun. This is my CB story. This was about 12 years ago, and me and a couple of my neighborhood friends would play Halo 3 online. My next door neighbor, who at the time didn't have internet connection, felt left out, and me being the good friend I am, offered him my Wifi password so he can join in. A week passes, and he complains the internet is slow, as he lives on the 4th floor of his apartment, and I live in a 2-floor home. He then asks me to ask my parents to upgrade our plan so he can get faster speeds. I laughed and said no. Fast forward a week, and me and 5 of my neighborhood friends are in a Xbox Live party, and one of my other friends mentions it was nice that I let CB run a 100 feet Ethernet cable to my router. I'm confused, as CB is telling him to shut up. I go upstairs to check. The router was in my brother's room, next to the window. This motherducker bought a 100 feet cable to run from his room in the attic to my brother's upstairs room. He did this while I was away, and told my parents I let him do this. So at this point I'm furious, and all my friends are laughing, including CB. So as he is laughing, I grab a pair of scissors and snip his cable and throw it in his backyard and change my Wifi password. He didn't play with us for 2 months until he finally convinced his parents to get internet. The torture of him listening about all of our online fun when we hung out was payback enough for me. On to the second story, written by you/Eden by Argue 1988. Man returns iPhone, owner complains. This isn't my story, but one I heard on the radio. There's this radio show where I'm from, where a lawyer does call-ins from people asking him to help arbitrate their cases. One case involved a man who forgot his iPhone in a taxi. Normally, that'd mean that the iPhone was lost forever. But the taxi driver was a decent person and found a way to return the phone. So why was the guy who, against all odds, got his then brand new iPhone back calling a lawyer? Because it wasn't returned sooner. Yes, the guy who forgot his iPhone and got it returned to him called a lawyer and tried to publicly shame the person who returned an iPhone, because it got returned to him the Monday after he lost it. He claims that he needed it for work and that it contains a lot of his personal information. But nobody believed him. The lawyer tore into him on live radio, and he basically got shouted down for being an entitled jackass. On to the third story, shared by you/Yada Garasu513. Don't you dare eat while you teach me for free. So guys, reading all these stories reminded me of a moment in my life that, looking back, just seems entitled as heck. I have 2 aunts on my mother's side of the family. My mother kept up contact with them when she moved to England, and after some difficult battles with the immigration agencies, finally managed to bring them to stay in England with us as well. One of them is lovely, but the other, well, I could probably write a book about the crazy things she did after moving in with us. Eventually, both my nice aunt and the crazy aunt move out, mostly because my mother finally loses patience with just making life difficult for us all. And I felt obliged to stick with her, since my mother was pretty firmly situated. Now for the CB part. I'm at university, and I have a job teaching English on the weekends to make some extra money. Now calls me one weekend and asks about some English lessons, as her and Ka are having trouble with theirs, and it's getting in the way. I agree, and since their house is en route from my uni to work, I arranged to stop by after work for a 2-hour per 1 session each Saturday and Sunday. Now offers to pay, but I refuse. So the first session rolls round. Ka barely says a word, but now makes good progress. Now offers to pay again, but I refuse, at which point she offers to make me dinner. I've not eaten much that day, so I agree, and she does. Ka shoots her a bit of a dirty look, but I brush it off. This turns into routine for a few weeks. I'd go tutor them for a couple of hours, after which I would eat dinner with them. Then, one day, out of the blue, I get a call from Na that goes something like this. Na, hi, is everything okay? Thank you for the lessons. They've been really helpful. Me, sure, everything's fine. You've gotten much better. Is next weekend still okay? Na, well, that was why I called. Ka doesn't like you taking our food. Me, what? Na, she says you're coming to teach, not to eat with us, and if you want to eat, you can bring your own food. I at this point ask her to hand the phone over to Ka. Me, okay, I don't see what the problem is. Is what Na saying true? "Ka, I don't like you eating our food for free. We have to buy that. If you come to our house to teach, that's all you should do." Me, "Well, okay, I can eat before I arrive, but it'll mean I can only teach for an hour and a half or so." "Ka, no, you need to teach for the same time as you do now. Just leave your job a bit earlier if you need to eat." Me, "Yeah, no." I hung up and ended up just cutting Ka out from there on out. "I'm sorry, but I'm not losing time at the job. That's helping me get through uni. For someone who feels her sister offering to make me dinner is too demanding of me." Sorry for the length of the post, but it was a really irritating memory I thought I'd share. I had to clarify some of the points being made. This happened in the autumn of 2015 when I was in my last year of university. My family are all Indian, and I'm the only nephew my aunts have, so Na has always doted on me. Also, I did make an effort to keep helping Na with her English, but rather than pop by every weekend, we decided to use Skype after I'd returned home from work. She's always been very grateful for my help, and I used to see her regularly. She was actually recruited as a nurse just before I moved away, which I know she was always interested in. As for Ka, I haven't heard from her since that phone call. On to the fourth story shared by you/found dumbed. Landlord gives away my bed, asks me to leave it disassembled and ready to go. This happened in 2012, and it was a real-life conversation. So sadly, I haven't got photographic proof. I was about to move out of an apartment, and I asked the landlord if it was all right if I left the bed behind. The landlord said yes, and so I proceeded to plan the move without worrying about the bed. Then, just a few days shy of my moving out, the landlord tells me I of course would have to take the bed apart and get it out of the room. I chortled and said that in that case, I might as well sell it, because the only reason I wasn't selling it was to avoid taking it apart. Then check this out, my landlord tells me I couldn't sell it because his wife had told a friend they could have it. I laughed in his face and sold the ducking bed. Some nerve. On to the fifth story shared by you/Jman for 164. Customer claims we ruined her son's Christmas because she thought her car would grow. This happened almost 2 years ago, so go easy on me. I worked retail at a large sporting goods store around the holidays. My store had a large trampoline for sale, of which a customer bought, but quickly found out it was too large to fit in her sedan. No problem. We told her we would put it on hold for her, and she could come back when she found a car to borrow or someone to help her out. This was in early December, and it was common practice for us to put items in the back with a tag saying it is for ex-customer and that she had already paid. Fast forward to a few weeks later, Christmas Eve, around 5:30. Store closes at 6. Same customer calls and asks if she can come get her trampoline, but she will be late. Fine, we will be there anyways, closing down. I go to the backstock area, only to find someone has sold her trampoline. No big deal, another store is 15 minutes away, with one in stock. I hop in my personal truck, drive to the other store, pick up the trampoline, and head back to the store. Arrive at roughly the same time as the customer. We tell her we can just move it straight from the bed of my truck into her car. Sounds good. Wrong. We go outside to find she is in the same car she came to the store in weeks ago and has her son in the car, presumably the one who is receiving the trampoline for Christmas. Again, we tell her that this trampoline will not fit in her car. At this point, she is irate that the trampoline is not wrapped for her, that it won't fit, and that we have now ruined Christmas for her son because he knows he's getting a trampoline now and he won't have it tomorrow morning. At this time, my store director graciously offers to put the trampoline in his car and drive it to this woman's house that is fairly close by. She agrees. So the director drives to her house with this trampoline on Xmas Eve instead of being with his family. He arrives, to which this woman goes inside and shuts the door without offering any instruction or help to my director. He proceeds to stand at the front door and knock for an extended period of time before she opens the door, as if she is bothered that he is there. He tells her that he is just going to put the trampoline outside the garage, which infuriates her because it's not under the tree. He obliges and by himself gets this trampoline up her front porch stairs and to the door, which he discovers is closed and locked again. He again waits on her to open the door, to which she never does. At this point, he decides that enough has been done to appease this customer, and goes on his way to enjoy Christmas Eve with his family. Now, fast forward to the day after Christmas. The next day the store was open. And who comes marching in? This lady, and she's furious. The director takes her to his office, and she proceeds to scream and throw a fit, demanding a refund because we ruined Christmas for her kid. Because we were so unaccommodating to her. Apparently she was mad that he didn't put it under the tree for her. My store director quickly shuts this down, explains what happened, why he left it where he did, and everything we did to make sure she got this trampoline. She's not having any of this, and at this time she is asked to leave the store. Because of her screaming, she refuses. PD is quickly called, and she is escorted out of the building. And as far as I know of, never seen again at the store. Onto the 6th story shared by you/killer not. Called the cops over $9. When I was in high school, I worked at a restaurant. At the restaurant, if you ordered a dinner, you normally got a free salad bar, and at our establishment, this also included the vegetables on the hot bar. One night, a couple came in late and ordered drinks and steak dinners. I explained that the salad bar was at their disposal and brought out their drinks. They were both rude to me, but I was used to this behavior at the time. When you serve tables, getting treated like crap just comes with the job. They had the plates, each off the bar, by the time their steaks came out. Keep in mind, this was late at night, and they were the only ones there. They didn't have to wait very long for their dinners. As soon as I put the steaks down, the wife cut it with her steak knife and said that the steaks were too tough. I asked if they wanted the kitchen to recook them, but they said no, they just wanted to cancel the order. I took the plates back to the kitchen and told the manager, who proceeded to pull apart the steak with her hands. It wasn't tough at all. Customers did this sometimes. Our district manager was notorious for giving free stuff away. Most customers would run you to death, and then when they got up to the register, they would demand discounts. As was our policy, I changed the ticket to charge them for only salad bars and removed the steaks. When I brought the check to the table, they said no, we aren't paying anything tonight. I explained the policy and said since you ate off the salad bar, I have to charge you for it. They made the biggest ruckus ever over that check. It was only $8 or $9, but they acted like we were doing them so wrong. Everyone on staff was upset. The restaurant was empty, and we were all there, after close, dealing with these people. The manager tried to explain it to them, but they said they were not paying, and that was final. The manager was done. She said if they left without paying, she would call the police. They left. The manager told me to follow them out and get their license plate number. I made a busboy go out with me because I was only 17 and scared of everyone. The manager called the police. The CBs heard the manager and walked past their car in the lot. I guess they were just going to leave it behind and come back later. But here's the thing, we were in a small town, and I guess the police didn't have a lot going on, because I had only stepped a few steps into the parking lot when 3 cop cars pulled in and surrounded them. It was like a scene out of a movie, and I'm so happy I got to witness it. They marched the CBs right back in and made them pay their bill. The whole time the wife was crying and saying, "Called the cops over $9. Who does that?" And the manager stood there smug and said they were not welcome back. It was a pretty good night. On to the final story shared by you/city psychologist. Lady asks for free bottles and gets annoyed when I offer her the wrong one. I used to work in a bar, and one day a lady comes in. She says she works at the theater and was looking for props for a play. She asked if we had any empty liquor bottles we were going to throw away. I did, and I'm nice, so I said yes. I went to grab some gin and vodka bottles from the recycling bin. CB, oh, I was hoping to get something like a Johnny Walker bottle. Me, sorry, we don't have one. CB, yes you do, it's right there. Points at full bottle on shelf. Me, ma'am, it's still full. That's why it's on the shelf, not the bin. CB, just pour it out. I don't want the other ones. Me, CB, fine. I'll just go somewhere else. Thanks for nothing. And then she storms out, like I just lost a customer. Like, okay, woman, you weren't even paying. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you guys again in the next video.